We see the volatility on Wall Street, stock market way down, coronavirus, no answers as to how it started. That's inconceivable that the government is not looking into how it started. I believe that China obviously is responsible, not just in terms of the ordinary course of events, but I do believe this was a biological weapons lab. It got out. The American people deserve to know the truth. We never get the truth. And of course, we need to be reassured because perceptions become reality. And we now have a huge reality, a huge hit on our economy. It's going to affect every aspect of our life. People don't want to travel. Court hearings are being canceled. Conventions are being canceled. The travel industry is taking a huge hit. The oil industry as well. This is a crisis. And as much as I love the president, I have to say candidly, he has not done a good job. It's not enough to say everything is okay. You know, when I was at Duke University and a French literature major, one of the books that influenced me the most was Candide by Voltaire, French philosopher and writer, where Candide would go around South America and everything, quote, was for the best. One tragedy after another. He had an advisor, a philosopher named Dr. Pangloss. Things were not for the best. At the end of the day, with all the tragedies, the motto to the story of Voltaire was cultivate your own garden. Well, the president needs to cultivate his garden right now. He has been a great leader up to this point in time. He has not been a great leader in terms of dealing with the perception here with regard to the coronavirus. And whether it's for real or whether it's not for real, and it obviously is for real, he needs to take strong action. And one of the things he needs to do is to cut the red tape. He's been good at doing that with regulation at the Food and Drug Administration. I used to represent the Food and Drug Administration when I was a Justice Department lawyer, both as a prosecutor and as a defense lawyer. It takes too long to approve drugs to come to market. We know with AIDS how long it took. Many people died in the interim. In fact, there was a movie about that with Matthew McConaughey. I forget the name. But it took too long for the FDA to approve anti-HIV medication. It needs to be approved now because at least the reassurance that the government is going to move quickly will help economically, will help people's frames of mind, will get things moving again in the right direction. And the president needs to come down. He's come down hard on China before, but we needed some answers here because we need to know exactly what's at issue. You know, after 9/11, I was living in Washington, D.C. There was an anthrax attack. I wound up representing 8 of the postal workers that died and families that didn't die, or didn't have loved ones die. And we now find out, or we did find out at the time, that that strain of anthrax came from a lab in Virginia that the United States was working on a strain of anthrax to give to Saddam Hussein and others in the Middle East, which we actually did. Rumsfeld, Cheney, and Bush the dad did that. Now, if you don't know the cause of something, then how are you going to solve the problem? So that's my message for today. Freedom Watch, go to freedomwatchusa.org, is investigating. We have a Freedom of Information Act pending, but the government will slow that down. The president needs to take the reins here. He needs to recognize that perceptions are reality. His presidency hangs in the balance. Looks rather uncertain today, I might add, if things continue the way they're continuing. And think of the disaster if we wind up with either Joe Biden and most likely Hillary Clinton as his vice presidential candidate or some other permutation of it, maybe even Hillary is the presidential candidate, or Bernie Sanders, which is equally as bad for different reasons. So I have a message for the president. Wake up, sober up, address this problem. You need to have a national address immediately to the American people and reassure the American people that our so-called government is working on this. Because frankly, as it stands today, people don't believe a word the government says. They simply don't. I don't believe a word the government says. It's what they used to say about lawyers. If your mouth's moving, you must be lying. If the government is talking, American people believe the government's lying. Well, what's going on now? Let's get to the bottom of it. We don't need rosy predictions. We need action. And that's my answer for today. Go to freedomwatchusa.org. Join our Justice League. We're going to be working on this. We're going to be representing victims of coronavirus. We're going to be suing the government of China. I love Chinese people, but the government of China is evil. That's why they fled here to this country. And we need some real action. Share this podcast. It's on freedomwatchusa.org. It's on iTunes. It's on Spotify. It's on Facebook. It's out there on Twitter. And you have to now address this issue, government. You can't sit back and pretend this is just a sham, because perceptions are reality. So I want to God bless you. I want to God bless America, and God save America and keep you and your family safe. I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast of Special Prosecutor with Larry Klingman.
Here's the thing about new Cherry Vanilla Coke. Though cherry's named first, all the flavors taste just as great. I mean, it could have just as easily been Vanilla Cherry Coke, or it could have been Coke Cherry Vanilla. And since it's two amazing flavors of Coke, it might have been Coke Vanilla Cherry Coke or Cherry Vanilla Coke Coke. Unless you're in France, which would make it Le Coke de la Vanilla de la Cherry de la Crème. New Cherry Vanilla Coke, so good together. And new Cherry Vanilla Coke Zero Sugar, same great taste, zero sugar.